Hi guys, now that Pure Fiction rolled out their first one, I just want to give my impressions on how it is. I actually struggled a bit in the current Pure Fiction, like taking a couple of hours to beat. I think it took me like 3 hours in total to beat Pure Fiction because I didn't really have the optimal characters. I think, at least I believe I don't have the optimal characters. But I just use my typical MOC characters that I've built for MOC, which isn't really that bad because if you think about it, they aren't really that different since both are about speed clearing as fast as you can within the turns given. I think the only difference is that in Pure Fiction, we just want as many characters that can target everything on the field. You know, kind of like Kimiko, and that's why she kind of is really popular, as you can see, based on everyone's opinion. I don't really need to go do every one of the stages other than the last one because you really just auto battle stage 1, 2, and 3. Um, yeah, with just any average team, I'm pretty sure because I just used the average MOC team, auto battled 1, 2, and 3, and they got enough points for me to get to stage 4. So in stage 4, it seems like we need a bunch of physicals and ice, so I ended up just using my Clara because I don't really have an ice character that has AoE. I don't have Jing Liu. Well, I did have Pela, as you can see from my roster on the left here. Pela's level 80. I do have a pretty decent build on her, but yeah, I just didn't have enough space. Right, so basically all I did was use my Clara to spam her skill because Clara's skill hits everyone. Now it doesn't do much damage, but it didn't matter because all that matters was that I used Clara's skill to break everyone since I did have my Yuanmei. Because, you know, Ice with Yuanmei and break for my Clara's skill, which is a decent combo that I thought of. Not bad, I'd say. My Clara is actually below average. She is using the Herder Shop Destruction Light Cone. I prefer to never use my Clara because she's really weak. Unless, of course, most of the enemies are majority weak to physical. So I also have my Fushuan here because my Clara actually dies really fast because I don't have a single bit of defense or much HP, and she does get targeted most of the time because she is Clara. And I'm actually not sure how she gets targeted most other than her technique. I think maybe her ulti also gets some more aggro. But yeah, Fushan is needed because of that, and that's why I didn't put my Pela. And that's really just it. I was able to get like 30k points or close to 30. And so on to my next team. I just needed Lightning, it seems. So the first thing I thought of was to, pull out the classic mid Yuan with Ting Yun combo. I don't really like my mid Yuan. I don't have his weapon. I'm using that weapon that has Herda with portrait frame. I think that one gives you follow up by 30% more damage and also additional 30% more follow up whenever they're lower than 50%, which is I honestly don't like it that much, but it's probably the best I have for him. But yeah, and I know that fire is also needed, so but I didn't really have any fire. Like I did have my topaz, but I had to put her with my Clara, or else my Clara would completely do nothing. So yeah. I just have my Blade out instead because he is my second strongest character, and I usually whenever I play Blade, I also bring out my Bronya. So Blade and Bronya and Jingyuan and Tingyun. Or I'm pretty sure I just use my Bronya to also buff my Jingyuan because he's actually the carry in that team because his skill is AOE and it helped me clear a lot. But yeah, both my teams aren't good, but at least it's the best I could make based on what I've upgraded. So I don't think anyone should follow my team unless you have the same exact upgraded characters, which is Blade. Uh, my Topaz is actually my strongest character, but I really couldn't put her here because If I put her on the second team, then I will have nowhere to put my blade. So it's like I give it like a lot of thought on how I place my characters. Like it looks like it's better down here with my Jingyuan because she also buffs the Jingyuan's damage, but I really can't have her do that. I really needed her to be on the top team. But yeah, for the buffs that I put on both teams is just this one, excitation. Whenever an enemy enters a battle, there's 80% chance to receive one stack of the Shattered Ink, which is insane. I think it's pretty obvious to pick this one. I don't think anyone would choose any other buff than this one because clearly pure fiction is about clearing speed, and this is the fastest way to get the stack. Whenever enemy enters a battle, they get a stack, so it's like guaranteed one stack. Well, not really guaranteed, but like 80% is. I mean, you might as well restart the battle if you don't get those. I mean, if you don't get lucky. But yeah, what else I have to say? Oh, the effect, the main effect of this current pure fiction, which is this. I don't even know what to call this thing other than the effect that it's currently on. Maybe this whim skill, a T. So yeah, it's whenever ally uses an ultimate to attack, they get the thing called shatter, stacking up to 6 times, and whenever a target takes a turn, they get the stack procced on everyone. I think. Influx. Oh, I'm actually not sure, but it looks like it inflicted on everyone. Or maybe it's because I killed someone and it just bounced off. But that's really how it worked. Yeah, it's pretty OP. I'd say this made it really easy. I think. But yeah, so pure fiction seems to really heavily rely on that buff and the effects more than MOC. I think. So much to the point where it brings back memories of me struggling in Genshin. Because I remember in Abyss for Genshin, the buffs really make you want to pull for certain characters, and that's kind of what it was like right now. It makes you want to build certain characters like Herda and Himiko. Like they really popped off on this one. They helped you clear a lot. But yeah, because of how OP the current effect is, I think the next one will be much harder. Because right now the one is to give you like free, straight up free damage every time you use an ultimate. So that's like really easy for most players and any team actually. I think every team you use this buff is good. So the next pure fiction will be probably like way harder. If I had to predict, I think the next one will probably be DOT, like a DOT version. This one's erudition because Argenti and stuff like that. But the next one is probably gonna be DOT because you know, due to Black Swan's release, I have a feeling Black Swan's gonna make them have a DOT effect, and I would believe it's probably 3 times harder than most players because usually dot teams have a lot of important members to even function well. So if pure fiction requires 2 teams, then it'll definitely be a problem, even for players that main DOT teams, because they only have one team with Kafka, which they rely heavily on, and usually the other team is just other things that they don't, rarely use. So usually it would be like straight up baggage dragging them down. Now I think people are also wondering what characters are good for pure fiction, so I'll just pull up like a tier list to show you guys what I think of each character. Alright, pull that up. Alright, so I just straight up put every single 5-star on the A tier, and every single 4-star DPS on the B tier, and every single support on the C tier. Like, they're not like in the like don't mind the S, A, B, C, and D tier thing. Just look at them in the row. And the ones on the bottom are just characters I think could work. I mean, actually, like barely could work, I'd say. So yeah, this whole row on the top is basically all 5-star units that have AoE. Argenti, you already know he's the best character for pure fiction currently because every time you see uh, a new enemy, he gets energy, so it's literally perfect for him. So he's literally the best character. And to be fair, I can't really judge Himiko or even Jing Liu, but I do have a friend that I always use to support me. I always use their Jing Liu, and I know Jing Liu does a lot of damage. She is the strongest character in the game, no doubt. Like, not even close. Or maybe if Dan Heng E2 with his light cone, maybe it'll stand a chance, but even then, I still prefer Jing Liu. But yeah, Himiko, I've heard many people use this character to carry them. And I did watch my friend play with his Himiko, and it really popped off. It just obliterated every single mob, even the stronger mobs too. It kept obliterating everything with a combination of the effect on the pure fiction. It literally solo clears everything. So yeah, she's second. I think I ranked them correctly based on strongest on the left to the most left, and then on the right is the like least strongest. Yeah, Himiko, Jingliu, and then Blade. Obviously, he hits 3, and his ultimate also hits 3, so you know he's pretty good. And Jingliu is literally a better version of Blade. No offense, Blade mains. I used to be a Blade main, but transferred to Topaz because I do like to follow up. And then you have Jing Yuan, also known as Mid Yuan. He's actually not that good, but because of his lightning lord, it does come really slow, so it doesn't really help other than his skill. So the only reason why I would put him up here is because he could weakness break with his light link, and it hits every single monster. So he's pretty good for that, I guess. Clara, you get hit, you damage them, and so you don't have to waste a turn. So yeah, she's pretty good too, and her skill is AoE, and that's why I used her. Pretty sure if at least 70% of the players use her because many people have built a Clara. She is a really cute character, and she's unique, I guess. And then Dan Heng, kind of just like Blade, he attacks 3. Yeah, and then there's also Welt on the Lasp. I think this is probably like one of the weakest 5-star choices that can clear for you. He has his ultimate, hits everyone. His skill, it just randomly targets everything, which is actually not bad because it usually kills, so it just targets another one after it kills. So there's that. And then on this row, we got Herda and Serval. Herda being the better one of the 4-star. This is the 4-star row, kind of like Himiko, but I think she's on the weaker side. And Serval being, oh, actually, I don't even think I'd use. She is like a bare minimum. Like if you really have trouble in the second phase against Varvog, you need a Thunder weakness. That yeah, maybe you gotta pull out this Serval if you don't have Kafka or you don't have Jin Yuan. She really is the last choice. She is better than Mr. Arlon though, because Arlon is single target. He won't be used anywhere actually. Maybe one day when they make a character that increases your damage based on missing HP. Maybe a support that does that. Then maybe he'll pop off, but I don't see that day coming out soon. And then we have the supports role. Your Mei being the best because uh, dual DPS support or even triple DPS support with her. And then Branya is good because you straight up give the DPS another turn to attack. And then we got Ting Yun, ultimate boost and a damage buff, and gives you a 3-turn attack buff, so that's pretty nice for most characters. And we got Fu Xuan. She does give us a crit rate. I think it was like 10 or 11% crit rate buff. And then her ultimate is does proc that thing too, because if you think about it, there's not much supports that do damage with their ultimates, and Fushan's one of them. She actually does damage, so it does apply that effect. And here's the last row. It's like last resort characters. Like if you really don't have anything up here, you could use one of these down here. So there's Pela, because Pela's ultimate is also AoE, and it removes defense, so it does help a lot on the first stage, because everyone's weak to ice. Just pull out the Pela to ulti, and it breaks all the weakness. Perfect with Yame and Jingliu. And then we got Ho Ho, which gives attack buff and energy to everyone. And that's really just it for Ho Ho. I don't really need healing because I feel like in pure fiction you really do not want a healer on your team, because you just straight up don't have skill points to heal, or you shouldn't even be wasting it on something that doesn't buff your DPS. So yeah, she's kind of last resort healer and energy. And maybe if you have her E1, then yeah, it's good, because speed is always good for pure fiction and MLC. And we've got Hanya, the attack buff, skill point, damage increase, and speed, I think, on her ulti. I don't have a Hanya myself, but I really want one. I'm pretty sure she's gonna be good on multiple teams in the future. Ching Chui. I don't really know how to pronounce her name, even though I'm Chinese. Ching Chui or something. I'll just say Ching Chui because it sounds better. But yeah, she does AoE, I think. I've never built mine. I've seen other people use theirs and they just plow through stuff in simulated. But I'll be real, anything in simulated is exponentially increased. I don't know how much damage she does. I've heard she does explosive damage as long as you use enough skill points or luck. So yeah, there's her, and Locha is really, I think, just for the ulti. Yeah, he's kind of useless. Just in case you get hit or something. Yeah, probably shouldn't use him. I'll just put it all the way down here. And this is Kafka and all the DOT members, because I don't think it's a good idea to bring DOT, especially if they don't have that good of a AoE. Now Kafka and Guinafen here has like the triple hitbox, I think. So they're okay. If you're like a DOT main, then yeah, you should use them. Sampo, he does have the bouncy bounce, and his ultimate does hit everyone. I love Sampo's ultimate. I swear, I'm a heavy advocate for Sampo because of how good his ultimate is. But other than his ultimate, I don't think he's that good other than that. He does do decent damage though, so there's that. But it is single target unless you bounce the skill quite amount. But yeah, all the other characters that I didn't put up there is probably not that good of an idea to use. I guess Hook is the AoE. Oh nah, she doesn't really count as the AoE. I don't understand why she's destruction. Other than that, she heals herself every time she flex burn or attacks someone with burn. Uh, yeah, none of these guys really help out. Topaz, nah. Xu Yi's ultimate single target, nah. Dr. Ratio hasn't even come out yet, but I don't think he's gonna be good because Dr. Ratio's ultimate requires the enemy to stay alive. So you really just want Dr. Ratio to go against monsters that are tanky, and that's like the opposite of what pure fiction is. Silver Wolf is also single target too. Everything about Silver Wolf is single target, so she's not that good here. Celia is actually usable. I don't know why I forgot to put her. She's like somewhere probably above Kafka, because you get the resurgence above Ching Chui too. Resurgence ulti, and it's really easy to spam, and she has a lot of speed. So yeah, she's there if you want to use her. But I think that's it for the tier list for pure fiction, I'd say. At least the current pure fiction, because I know a lot of people are bringing up Himiko and Herda nowadays. Like they're all saying she's such a good character and they're so happy that they lost the pity even though they were so sad in the beginning, and now they're so happy because it helps them. Well, I kind of do. I don't feel like they're really that good for pure fiction in general. Now for the current phase, I mean the current pure fiction, yeah, they are really good. Himiko is probably like your savior for the bottom phase. I mean the second phase, and Herta really helps on the first phase. But it's only because this current effect is really strong. I think once they change it, I don't think they could pop off anymore. I mean, Himiko probably still can with a break effect team if they ever do like a break effect pure fiction thing. They probably will, because I know in the future they're probably gonna make much more break effect DPSs that are 5-star. I don't think there even is a 5-star DPS that is break right now. Oh wait, no, Himiko is, yeah, but a limited one. So yeah, they're gonna probably make a 5-star limited break character, which Himiko will also pop off on. But that's probably gonna be like 3 pure fictions away, and next one's probably DOT. So I really don't think Herda and Himiko are gonna pop off there. So try not to get your hopes up on building Himiko and Herda. Like maybe last resort you build them, but yeah, they will probably not be that good right after this pure fiction ends. I think that's all I have to say. I rambled on for a long time, but yeah, sorry about that.